Good morning. How are you today? Well, I started my day earlier with a swim in a pool. It was empty except for me. It was ideal. And so I got a break in what I'm doing today. I have Zoom meetings and stuff like that. But I got a break, and it's like 72 out. It's just gorgeous out today. So, of course, I have 8 different things to do. Well, I think we have a celebration and an illumination. We have Gosar, who is the congressman, who doesn't see anything wrong with an animated view of him killing AOC and attacking the president of the United States, Mr. Biden. And he even went on the floor of the House yesterday to defend his right to make this statement and say it was misunderstood by people. And so what they did was they censured him, all Democrats and a couple of Republicans, and they deprived him of the 2 House seats that he sits on, so now he can sit in a corner. And I think they should have disciplinary proceedings to think about expelling him. It's just not acceptable that a seatmate should sit next to you and be a person that said, I might, even if it's metaphorical, I might kill AOC. It's just not acceptable. And it certainly in the Times, it's not acceptable. I think of Gabby, who was shot in the head, the congresswoman. And, they had made similar remarks about her. And that was not as bad an environment, if you can compare them, as it is today when we're like on the edge of war with one set of citizens against another set of citizens. The worst aspect of this is that the Republican leader, Mr. McCarthy, didn't call him on the carpet and say, I want an apology from you. Because that would have killed the whole thing. And maybe that's what it should have done. But he didn't do that. And then after he was censured and stripped of his committee assignments, Gosar went outside and posted it again. You just can't fix stupid, inhumane, discriminatory, violent, irrational people who have no business being in the people's house, the Congress of the United States. There's also a story that you see in various forms from time to time, and it is how many people are dying of fentanyl or some street opioid. And I wrote a book years ago, I don't know, it was 2006 or 7, and basically I said pain in America and how our government makes it worse. And government makes it worse because it believes and regulates, consistent with their belief, that no opioids are appropriate to deal with pain. Now, we do produce natural opioids, which does help us, particularly with acute pain. You have a sudden injury. I hurt myself running down this hill if I did that, say. And then I limp off and I have pain and the opioid eases it. And in a day or so, I can at least walk on it quickly. But there's a chronic pain that lasts a person's entire life. And it's a mind-bending, impossible pain. And if a person can't get surcease from that pain, they're more likely to commit suicide. Now, the people who are taking fentanyl, is that why they're doing it? No, I don't think so. I think what they're doing is they're self-medicating because the government has scared the hell out of experienced pain doctors based on looking at the total opioids on the state DEA lists that they administer and then targeting those doctors to discourage them from giving pain medication. And sometimes they run people in undercover pretending to have pain, back pain, when they're older men, usually men, who in fact actually do have back pain. So, and then there are not verifiable images you can get for proof of pain. Sometimes you might be able to show, a broken bone or something, and the pain seems to emanate from that image. You take people in, high labor districts like West Virginia, for instance, and people lose a finger or something, and they get phantom pain, which can be very painful, shifts around in the body, becomes like a storm in some cases. And so when these people can't get pain medication and they can't afford to do much else, they self-medicate with alcohol, and they buy stuff on the street. And that's where the deaths come from. Also, for people in these lower areas who are depressed to begin with and need pain medication to counter it and don't have a job, depression plus pain, a bad formula. And so America's in the wrong place. It's like, we're going to suppress it. We're not going to, ease off the pain doctors. Work out a program so that they can actually legitimately give pain medicine to their patients. I've represented a number of doctors in this case, and Richard Pay, a pain patient, and I've seen up close the pain they go through and the difference and how they can function otherwise. So I talked to a doctor today, and I asked him, because he's a doctor that's familiar with pain medication, Feldman, and he said to me that he sees the same connection, and he's experienced that this question. And I currently have, I'm currently consulting with a couple of people about their situation as doctors. And what I find is that these are people who want to nurture and care for their patients, and they don't want to take advantage of them. And when a person who actually knows anything about this subject, they realize that what's happening is a person has a doctor who is healing, not dealing, and that the fact that a person needs to deal with pain and uses pain medication, it means that they're dependent, not addicted, and there is a difference. And one of the controversial areas is a person who has an addictive personality, how do you deal with their pain? And there's a legitimate argument that you should be dealing with their pain, but you also have to protect them from being addicted. People would like these issues to be simple. Well, they're not. And if you want a relative to die earlier, deprive them of pain medication, because that's one of the quickest ways to force them to commit suicide. And America is so anti-science and so stupid about so many things: the environment, injections, the virus, pain medication and medical procedures as well. But there we are. In this category, let's take the Oklahoma governor, okay? Stitt. He's firing the head of the National Guard because the head of the National Guard in Ohio is requiring people to actually follow the safety mandates involving the virus. Smart, huh? And last but not least, there's the Rittenhouse case. Now, I haven't been in the courtroom. I didn't see the jury selection. I have listened to parts of examinations in the back while I was working on my cases, and my own cases. And what I get out of it is I'm very comfortable, and particularly the videos, and particularly the drone video. It shows you a young man who went there to get in trouble, bad trouble, to hurt people. And the prior statement they excluded of how he would have gone someplace else to, make a difference, and him hanging out with Oath Keepers. I have information, we all have information that the jury doesn't have. But if you have to restrict yourself to the evidence, listen to the summation of the prosecutor again. It's now on YouTube. And look at that video, and you'll see this guy should be convicted. Now, there is a self-defense instruction to the jury, which is somewhat hard to follow, but the simplest way to understand it is you have to be in danger of your life, be unable to escape it in order to assert self-defense. But if you provoke the incident, then it all goes away. And then there's an exception to that, which some people cite, I think, to try to make it more confusing than it is. But this guy went there on the bogus idea that he could render medical attention, was just a way to get him inside the room so he could shoot people, I think, from the beginning. I think he expected it. Why do the question that he was asked was, why did you go there with a rifle? Well, he went there with a rifle to wound, shoot, kill people. And the fact that they didn't put politics in the room, I'm not sure that was right, because his motivation was political. It was political, it was hateful, but hey, I'm not in charge of the case, and I'm not dealing with that crazy judge. I probably would be in a cell if I had to deal with him. So, hope you have a good day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.